and gentlemen, welcome again to yet another video. In this one, we're going to be touching on sessions. So, first things first, a little bit about what sessions are and what they're used. They're basically browser cookies. You go visit websites, they will save certain information about your browser or vice versa on something called a cookie. So a lot of times session cookies are used within Flask web applications as well to achieve a variety of different functionality. So let's go ahead and for example, okay, this is not how we would normally want to do things, but let's suppose that we wanted to implement sessions to have some sort of a login and registration. So let's make this the register page. Okay. And let's make it so that we have a way of registering users that is, or maybe a better way is, suppose if we already made a user, that's maybe a better way to go about it. If we did login, and we can say like username, correct username here is going to be user, and the correct password can be correct pass. Okay, so unless anything is written in these fields other than user and correct pass, we should have it say that it's incorrect or vice versa. So we're going to modify this register form that we made earlier. We're going to call it login, and let's just refresh to make sure that things look the way that, we can just make it the home page. We'll make it login, username, and password. Okay. So instead of here user made, what we were saying previously, what we can do is we can make it such that it says, it can we can adjust these checks, I guess. So if username is none or vice versa, please enter a valid username. Please enter, instead of the password check, it should say if password is none, please enter your password. We don't need the length checking anymore because they've already made their password. This is just checking the login, right? So okay, our logic should be if username is equal correct username, then return if username is correct username, and password is equal to correct password, we can make this return you are successfully logged in. Okay, so that's great. It should log them in, right? Looks good. So in the home page now, we can even call this the home page. I know I keep changing it, but if the request method is post, we're going to assume that they're logging in, and we'll check their username and password to see if it equals. Yeah, normally you would definitely not want to do this for actual username and login, username password login checking, vice versa. As I've mentioned previously, you would want external libraries probably, and you would want to actually have a database, encrypted passwords, vice versa. But hypothetically, let's just say, using our knowledge that we know right now, that we want to create a login system, right? So this is how we're going to do it for now. Eventually, we're going to show how to do better versions of this. But let's say that we want to log in and we want to actually make the user actually logged in. Okay, so let's first test this part to see if it works. We say hi 1 2 3. We hit we have to do this. We should change this to login. And other than that, username and password. Okay, if the username is this, we also haven't done anything. We should do a else return incorrect username or password. Okay, so let's just type hi and hello here, and it says incorrect username or password. Let's type user and 123, and this again says the same thing. But if we do user and correct pass, it says you're successfully logged in. But then when we go here again, it wants us to log in again. So how would we be able to retain that we are actually logged in? Just a second, I will be right back. Yep, apologies about that. So we are back. And so basically, we've established that we're supposed to be logged in, but it's taking us back to a login form, right? What we can do is we can do, right, if user logged in, then it shows something here like, hey, it looks like you're logged in, welcome, and it can even say the username. Otherwise, it should show this form. Oops. Okay, so now when we refresh the page, it'll say that, oh sorry, not mblock, and if. Now when we refresh the page, it doesn't have anything such as if user is logged in, so we'll have to code that, and we'll also have to code the username, right? So how would we do this? How would we be able to retain whether a user is logged in or not? Well, we can again use sessions, so that's the whole point of this video, and we can just import session here, and when the user comes here, if the correct password vice versa, it can say session logged in equals true, and session username equals username. Okay. So what this is doing is it's saving the person's username to a session cookie called username. That's how we do it, and then the session logged in is being set to true, so that we can check if the person is logged in or not. And perhaps when we run this application, you know what, no, we don't need to worry about that for now. Okay, so unless they have logged in, we're gonna have this session as false, right? So what we will do effectively here is we'll do logged in equals session I think it's session.get logged in, but we're about to find out because I don't fully remember. And the username equals session.get username. Okay, and then we need to pass these on. So we basically, I will explain again. Okay, let's just refresh. Nothing seems to have changed. Okay, so when we log in, it should save our logged in to true. So in the future, whenever, this is all within the post request, but the post request ends here, and we're basically checking, we're getting logged in from a session, and we're getting username from a session, and we can actually just print those right now. Print logged in and print username, and we can go here and you can see that it's rendering those as none because we haven't logged in yet and we don't have a username at the moment that's stored in the session, so that's why these are returning as none, right? But what we will do is we will log in now. So first we will try hi123 again, and it's going to say incorrect password, but now username and sorry, not username, user and correct pass will actually, oh, I was a bit quick there. We also need to put a secret key in order to use this functionality of storing things in the session. This is so that the session cookies can store the information securely, so that it's stored using, it's basically encrypted using this secret key. So let's just put super secret key here for now. You want to change this to something that is actually secret normally. And now we can refresh and do this one more time. So let's see, user and correct pass, and it says you're successfully logged in. Now when we go to the home page next time, it doesn't show us this, but the reason is because we did if user logged in. Now we just change it to if logged in, and you can see we can actually toss this inside here as well, just to make things we can do one like this. You are logged in. So you can see because we are logged in, it says you are logged in. Hey, looks like you're logged in. Welcome, user. And it says, hey, looks like you're logged in. Welcome, user, because username is set to user, and that's what we logged in as. That's saved to the session now. And if we were not logged in, it would direct us to the login form, because if logged in and logged in is session.get logged in, and we set this to true when we entered the correct username and password when submitting the post form. Therefore, we are logged in, and that way we also save the username to a session, and that's how we're able to then use session.get to retrieve those things and effectively be able to pass them on here as arguments to the render template, and those variables that we're passing in, such as logged in, we're using later check. We should also maybe code a logout just to show that once we do log out, we won't have this. Just logged in is going to be set to false, and session username will be set to none. And this way we can also say successfully logged out. And so now we're logged in right now. When we go to log out, okay, what it will do before I enter it, what it will do is it will set this logged in to false and username to none. So it will log us out basically, because right now our login check just checks if this logged in is true or false, right? If it's none, then it's also going to be counted as false, which is by default. So when we do log out, right, and we go back to the home page, it takes us to login. Again, it's going to keep doing this until we actually log in, right? User with the correct stuff, so correct pass, and there you go. It says we are successfully logged in, and when we go, it now gives us the hidden content that we would be able to access only if we're logged in. So this is basically just the introduction warm-up to sessions, and sessions are used pretty frequently within Flask web applications, especially smaller ones. You can utilize them to do a lot of fancy things, but beware with sessions that they're tied to the user's browser. So if they were to delete the cookies here, as soon as they refresh the page, they would be logged out, as you can see. So yeah, that's just a heads up about sessions. They're not, they're used within larger libraries and stuff as well, but I would, avoid using them for every scenario. Obviously, they have their time and place and good things. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, sessions can be also useful if you don't have a login registration system and you're just, trying to store things in a cookie, for example. You could easily store a user's preferences, such as, let's say if you had a dark theme and a light theme for your website, every time they come back, unless they clear their browser cookies, they'll be able to come back to your website with the dark theme because you set the session. As soon as they flick the dark theme, you set a session using Flask. You could maybe send a request to Flask or refresh the page where you set the session variable, which is not recommended, but it's what we know how to do at the moment. Every time they visit the pages in the future for that website, it'll automatically show them the dark theme. I hope this was enlightening. Maybe it gave you some ideas or something to work off of, and I look forward to recording. Maybe I will do a flashing messages tutorial for the next one, and then hopefully soon we can dive into the database, which is the meat and potatoes of doing things in a in Flask in web applications, other than of course the things that we've been covering thus far. So I wish you a wonderful, amazing day, evening, whatever it is, and look forward to the next one. Peace.